welcome back to HPU Sports Talk. My name is Ava Sames, and joined with me tonight is Wendell Epps. Very happy to have you. We have a beautiful brand new table for our last episode, sadly our last one, of this semester. We're gearing up to go home, but that does not mean that sports are over by any means.
No. Spring sports are just starting to heat up.
Just heating up, and we got a long ways to go for baseball. We got a long ways to go for men's and women's lacrosse. Hopefully we see some post-conference action, especially with our men's and women's lacrosse that we'll get to after. But for tonight, I want to start with baseball. They had a pretty tough series against Longwood this weekend, and I mean, we have to shout out our fantastic other anchor, Danny Shea, who called his first ever games this weekend. He did amazing. We were able to listen to him, and he absolutely killed it. So, Danny, we love you. We wish you were with us tonight. But you did absolutely amazing. We loved hearing it.
Shout out Danny Shea. I'm glad he finally was able to get on the mic. He's been telling me for a long time that he's been dreaming of doing play-by-play for a live Division I sporting event. Yeah. He had his opportunity, so proud of Danny for sure.
I know, me too. And what a better series than Longwood.
Hey, he had a walk-off call in his first game. I mean, I remember my first game, goal call, scored in the first 30 seconds of women's soccer. He gets the walk-off. I'm jealous. I'm still waiting for my game-winning goal call. I haven't had that in my 3.5 years here.
Oh, well, you need it.
I need it. Senior year, it's got to come.
It's coming before that. I see it by the end of the season, I think.
Well, for lacrosse, I've gotten
lacrosse,
it, but not for soccer. So we'll have to wait till the fall. But hopefully I get it, because I will do a goal call for about 30 seconds probably.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
You need one.
Mm-hmm. I need it. That's all I'm missing.
We need to time you next time. We need like a stopwatch and just like.
I'm gonna do that for every goal call I do next season. We'll definitely make a stop.
And make it longer, everyone.
Make it longer, everyone.
Every 1 second.
I mean, so you're telling me if we?
It's not exciting.
I mean, against Hampton, we scored 6, 7 goals.
That's a lot.
My voice gets tired after a while.
You're
right.
Know?
Voices do give on.
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
I get that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this Longwood series. Unfortunately, we fell to Longwood, but it was not by a million home runs. We lost 2-3, and then we won, and then we lost again. But overall, it was a great series. I love watching them play. What did you see out of the baseball team this weekend?
It was honestly a really fun series, Ava. I think especially Saturday, you could really just sense that these two teams were going at it, that they really wanted to win, especially down the stretch. Obviously, I was tuned in, number one, to see Danny, of course, but number two, because I was actually genuinely interested in seeing what High Point was going to do. One of my best friends from high school is on Longwood, so I got to see him play too, so that was awesome. So I kind of just had a lot of invested interest in watching the game, but especially towards that 8th and then top of the 9th inning, we see High Point and Longwood going at it. Longwood has a chance to potentially go ahead and win the game, but then High Point gets it done. So I was just really impressed by what the Panthers were able to do on Saturday. Wish they were able to follow it up on Sunday. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, but they played them tough, and I think it was a great introduction to sort of that you really feel like you're in conference play moment. I think this could be that moment of the season where High Point looks back on and probably is like, man, this is really what set us up for success, hopefully down the line. So they still got a lot more games left. They got some big games coming up. They got App State soon, and then they'll be back home for another weekend series coming up this weekend. But I'm looking forward to see what the baseball team can do. I think they're heading in the right direction, though.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I definitely see some better kind of strides in the pitching, I think. I think that's what's kind of been lacking for them. They're giving up a lot of these hanging curves, and their fastballs are just kind of right in that sweet spot where they're right in the 90s, but they're not out of them where you can hit them, and it's the stride that they haven't been able to hit until this weekend, and you could definitely notice that. And I think that it's going to be nothing but great things, especially like you said before when they were playing tougher teams. I mean, they had a Kentucky series. That's insane. That's so super challenging. And then Radford's coming up, Elon's coming up, and I think those two especially are going to be fun games for us to see.
Definitely are, and I think those early games against teams like NC State and Pittsburgh really help set us up for these conference games because they're not as hard as those games were, of course, because those are some of the top teams in the nation. Obviously, Longwood, very talented team, but it is the Big South, so completely different ball game there. But I think for High Point, you got to figure out ways to continue finding ways just to close out those games.
Yeah.
You know, they're always been in those tight contests, especially in conference play. Just being able to find some consistency, hopefully get a 3-0 series victory at some point in the near future. I definitely think that could pay off in huge dividends for the baseball team.
Yeah, and you mentioned NC State. I want to say one more thing about them. They're playing NC State at Truist Park, which I am so excited to go to. I've never actually been. Have you
Really?
been?
You never been to Truist?
No.
For a High Point Rockers game? You've
No.
never been to Truist?
I've never.
Literally, it's like
I know,
a 2-minute
it's-
walk from campus.
I know, it's so close. And I've never been. Every time, especially for their like just random games, like weekday games, like I'm always in class, and then weekends I'm like off or I'm doing something else, and then I forget about them, and then I'm like, oh, I wanted to go to that game.
Doing something more important than going to a High Point Rockers baseball game? Come on.
No, I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know. They're
No,
fun.
I know, and I really have to go. I really have to go. But I'm excited because now I get to watch NC State and High Point play at the Rocker Stadium. I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And the Big South championships for baseball this year are going to be there. Yeah, they're going to be at Truist, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm glad the baseball team has gotten the opportunity to be able to play at Truist. I think that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's
Even our
huge.
club baseball team, well, I got to give a shout out to them because they're currently ranked as one of the top teams in the nation. And
They're awesome.
They're playing so well. Had a great weekend series at Duke this past weekend, but
Yeah.
I think you can just sense like baseball is really starting to heat up here on this campus. I mean, our D1 baseball team, you know, I'm hoping that they get more wins to show for it. I feel like their record still doesn't show the accuracy of the
It
team.
doesn't.
They're actually a really good team.
Yeah.
Head coach Joey Hammond. It's never easy being a first-year head coach to come in and take over a program, but he's been doing good things for them, and he's got Wake Forest, team that he
Yeah.
previously was at, coming up in a couple weeks. So that's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Definitely, and he loves these boys too. You can tell.
Yeah, he
They
definitely
have
does.
such great chemistry with him. He really he takes everything to home, and it really shows when the guys go out there. You can see the respect that they have for the coach, and I think that means more than any win or loss.
And they play Pump It Up every single game.
Every game, I know.
Every single game.
It actually does pump up the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, don't you know Pump It Up? Finish the rest. Come on.
I'm sorry, that was too funny. That was a good one.
Okay. Well.
All right, you got to pump it up though.
Yes, there we go. Took about, 15.4 seconds on the dot, but
I'm going to count that later.
Yeah, exactly. The stopwatch is already in effect.
We're checking out your goal calls for the soccer.
Okay, gladly.
I'm timing them.
All right.
I will personally.
You can be the personal timer.
I will be.
And you'll forever be known as personal timer.
I'll be Wendell's personal timer as he
Yep.
does the goal call.
I will gladly accept that.
Alrighty, let's head on over to another men's team who is incredible. These athletes, I mean, in the men's lacrosse, are insane. So good. I want to start off with talking about Asher Nolting because he is now currently 9th in points for history of men's lacrosse. And he's not done.
He's not done. He's just getting started.
He's just getting started. He's in 9th forever. That's just absolutely crazy to me. And I think it goes to show, we were talking about this a lot before, but his leadership and like these guys looking up to him, they're like, I want to be like him. I want to be 9th. Like, I want to be 10th. I want to be 11th. Like, I want to be that good that I'm going to work as hard as he does to get there. And I think that really shows a lot.
He inspires his teammates to just be wanting to continue to get better and better at the sport of lacrosse. I think that's just so amazing about Asher Nolting. I will say this, I don't think there's definitely never going to be another Asher Nolting. What Asher Nolting has done at High Point just cannot be duplicated. He's that good of a player. He's going to go down as one of the best players in program history, if not the best, along with just one of the greats in all of NCAA lacrosse. But I think what his teammates, especially the younger teammates like the freshmen and sophomores, they're just looking at him as someone like, hey, what can I take away from his game? What can I learn from what he's doing on and off the field to be able to actually apply it to my own personal game? And I think we saw that a lot, especially in their last game on Friday night against VMI. Big win. Saw a lot of freshmen and sophomores come in that second half. And I think they just got an opportunity to show John Torpy and the rest of the coaching staff that, hey, we're part of this future core of this High Point team. You know, Asher's done great things for us, but we've really learned a lot from him. We're not ready to take on that next step. And I think that's just going to be crucial for the men's lacrosse team to keep doing that. But they're really starting to play well in SoCon play. They're starting to get things together. That game they had a couple weeks ago against Jacksonville, even though they lost, it was a great momentum booster for them. They learned a lot, and I think they know that the SoCon is not going to be as easy as it probably has been the past couple of years. Like Jacksonville, Richmond's going to be coming to town soon, so that's going to be a good game. I'm very curious to see where this men's lacrosse team's going to go, but it definitely does start with Ashton Knowlton, no doubt about that. And then Braden Maia, of course, still having a great season. And Parker Green, my man, doing great things in the cage as the goalie for the High Point men's lacrosse team. So everything really just clicking right now with men's lax.
It really is. And you talked about the freshmen and sophomores. I love when these underclassmen get to.
I love it. The young bloods.
I love it when they get to get in the games, and especially when they score. You saw on the sidelines, everyone was so pumped up. You see all of these seniors just cheering on this little 18, 19-year-old that just got here, and it's his first season with the team, and now he's pumped and he wants to be here because everyone else wants him to be here and wants him to succeed and do well. And I think you see it. Especially against that game against VMI, that was fantastic to watch. I love watching freshmen and sophomores score. It's my favorite thing.
I love how you say little 18, 19-year-old. How old are you again?
I'm 20,
just 20. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, like that's the beauty of sports, especially like when you have blowout victories.
Yeah.
On a Friday night, it was a great crowd on hand at Vert Stadium, and I think everyone was just really excited to see those young players being able to play down the stretch, get that experience, because they're going to need it. And the same thing happened with our women's lacrosse team on Saturday when they absolutely destroyed Presbyterian. We'll get to that in a moment, but I'm excited for our men's lax team because they're going to be making a first this coming week. They're going to be playing the Hampton Pirates. Hampton just recently launched a men's lacrosse program. Now, granted, they're not that good, but it's a great opportunity for us to get opportunity to face a new program, see what it's like, go to Hampton, Virginia, which I'm a huge fan of Hampton, Virginia. I've made a lot, the Virginia Beach area, love that area. So I'm really excited to see what High Point's going to do against them. I think it's going to be a great opportunity, just rack up, hopefully, what will be another SoCon win and just get ready. I think March or April 23rd, that's going to be the date that you need to circle on your calendar because they'll be playing Richmond. Big game there against the Spiders. Could be a preview of the SoCon championship if Jacksonville's not in it. So I'm very excited to see what our High Point team will do for the rest of the season.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
These guys are just incredible. Like, I watch in awe, and I was never big, like, in high school. I never really watched lacrosse. I didn't really understand the sport, and then I started going to these games, and I'm like, wow, this is intense. This is crazy. And then, like, big blowout wins 16-5. I mean, it's always fun to watch because you can just hang out with the crowd. You don't really have to, like, get too much into it. And then you get close games. You're 10-9, and these.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know, and then everything flips a switch in no time, and that's what I absolutely love about this game.
That first game that we had this season at Vert against Colgate, that overtime, Ashton Knowlton scored the game-winning goal. Like, nothing beats that. That's what you love about lacrosse, the intensity. These players play so tough. Honestly, probably the strongest athletes we have here on this campus, that men's lacrosse team. They just work. I see them working out day in and day out, putting so much time and effort, waking up at, 5 a.m. to go out and do runs across campus. I mean, granted, it's a beautiful campus, but I mean, who wants to be doing 5 a.m. runs around this place?
It's still dark.
It's still dark. You can barely see anything.
They don't even have the classical music playing the promenade.
No, they don't have the classical music. You got to put your own headphones in if you have them. You know, play whatever music you want, which I guess is to your own luxury. But still, I mean, it doesn't.
What's your song when you run? Do you
My
run?
song when yeah, of course. What?
I don't know.
What do you mean
No, I run. I don't know if you do. What's your song when you run?
You know, I like going old school. I love playing some Run DMC, Down with the King, or raw bass. It takes two, or some Crisscross. I'm sure you know the song "Jump" by Crisscross.
Oh, yes,
hit in the '90s.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I like playing some hip hop music, and then I love some Eminem too, Drake.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe sometimes if I'm running late at night, you know, like some R&B, nice and soothing,
chill,
relax. You know, get my feelings a little bit, and then kind of just go for a run. But hey, I mean, I would have done track if it wasn't just all running. I mean, I love to run. I consider myself to be pretty fast. I think
they work hard too. They got intense strength training.
They do, and they got to eat right too. You know,
don't they have to like submit their food?
Yeah, they got these food charts they got to submit. You know, when they go to the calf, they got to say, I got 2 sausages, 3 pieces of bacon.
I got 2 scoops of rice, but they weren't full.
Exactly. So it's like they can't go all out. They can't be eating like triple cheeseburgers every single day. You know, they got to watch their weight. But I think for this men's lacrosse team, I mean, they work so hard. John Torpy's seen it. We've had a lot of our fellow sports media classmates do a lot of feature stories on John Torpy, especially this season, which has been great because especially with COVID restrictions sort of going away, we've been able to get more access to coaches and players. So I think John Torpy's just really, really excited to share what his program's been up to these past couple of years. And we were talking about this on the last episode with Harrison Ben, was just about what Torpy has done for the entire High Point men's lacrosse program. Everyone loves him. He's a guy that you would just love to play for as a player, and I just think it's something that I think we all should appreciate, even though we're not on the lacrosse team. Just the fact that we have an athletic coach like that here in this campus that does so much for our community as well. This men's lacrosse program, they've just, from where they started to where they are now, it's just absolutely amazing.
I know. I love seeing it, and John Torpy does so much for this campus, for this community. Everyone around here knows who he is, too.
Yep.
And that's what I love. I mean, you can obviously go to these big schools and you can see these coaches and, like, yeah, you know who Coach K is, but, like, you're never going to speak to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we get the fantastic opportunity to be able to talk to our coaches because they're around and they love talking to us. And that's another thing that I really do love about this team, is that they're so open to just talk to regular students, not just their own athletes.
Yeah, they treat us like we're one of their players. So I absolutely love that. And our women's lacrosse team, too, got to give them a shout-out for everything they've been doing. Huge win on Saturday against Presbyterian. Abby Holmes, how about her? Set a career high. Career high, 9 goals. 9 goals. I got to do 9 goal calls for Abby Holmes.
You had 9 goal calls for one person.
For one player.
And then 10 more after.
Yeah, I probably said her name, I don't know, like 200 times in the broadcast, but I love it. And it was so awesome, too, because all the parents for the women's lacrosse team were there. They were just kind of there. It was like parents there, whatever. Yeah. And Abby Holmes, her parents were at the game. Yeah. So our creative services team, they were like shooting a video with like their parents, and then Abby's dad comes up to me and says, "Hey, I've seen you on ESPN Plus. I just want to thank you for everything that you've done." Yeah, and I was like, that honestly made my day. I heard that like literally right before I was about to get on air for the broadcast, and like hearing that just motivated me. Like, all right, I got to make this broadcast good. And sure enough, Abby Holmes like just went off, had the best game of her life.
She made it good for you.
Best game of her career, and I'm just like sitting there thinking, like, man, like just so thankful for her presence, like her parents, everything they've done for her. I'm sure they sacrificed a lot to get Abby where she is in this position with High Point. And I mean, she's just playing so well right now. The whole team is playing so well. Head coach Lindsay Boswell really has her girls just ramping up and really feeling confident as they're heading into conference play. Sure, they lost that first Big South game to Campbell, a little bit of a fluke. First Big South loss since 2016 when Love Yourself was still a thing as a song. We found that out in the broadcast.
Love Yourself by Eminem?
No,
or
Justin
by
Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I'm thinking Lose Yourself.
Yeah, Lose Yourself.
One letter off.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what was the last time High Point lost a conference game, but that just shows you like how much success we've had in conference play these past couple of years. So I'm just really proud, though, of this High Point team. Everyone's really starting to get involved. The girls just love playing for one another, and I think this is probably, this is my 3rd year announcing High Point Women's Lacrosse. I think in my 3 years so far, this is the team where I just feel that chemistry. Yeah. I feel like there's something special to this group, and I just can't wait to see what they do for the rest of conference play. They got Longwood coming to town on Wednesday, and then they have a big one coming up against Mercer next Saturday. Because similar to the SoCon Conference for men's lax, women's lax, it's a tight race too. You got Campbell playing really well this year, Mercer playing really well, so it's not going to be easy for High Point to repeat as those Big South champs. They're really going to have to earn it, but I think they're heading in that right direction.
I think they got it, in my opinion.
Oh, of course. If Ava Same says they got it, you know they got it. You know they got it.
They really do. I mean, you see obviously like how hard these women work every single day. Like they put out a show too for you.
They do. I always say, welcome to the circus, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Pia Cavallaro had an insane behind the back goal. If you haven't seen it, literally.
God, I saw it on Twitter. I didn't catch the game, and I saw it on Twitter.
You saw it on Twitter with?
With what? You?
Yeah.
Oh, with your call? Oh, yeah, of course. No, I saw your call. Fantastic call, as per usual. I don't even have to say that anymore. But I saw that, and I sent it to my dad. I was like, this is so cool. I'm like, if this isn't like one of the best like goals that she has ever had or we have ever had, like I don't know what is. Like,
that's got to be the best goal she's ever scored in her collegiate career. It's crazy because Pia Cavallaro had no goals last season. She only played in 5 games. She only played a little bit, sort of got to play when they were up big in some of those Big South games. But this season, she's actually getting a lot more minutes. Head coach Lindsay Boswell putting a lot of trust in her, and she's been a vital force in that High Point attack, someone that they really needed after losing a few of their strong attackers from last season. Being able to have Cavallaro on the team, I mean, she's just really starting to be that rising star. I definitely would say she's in the front running for just being that most improved player in this High Point women's lacrosse team because she's just playing exceptional right now, and it's really paying off for her.
Yeah, and like you said, they lost a lot of their fantastic attack team. They lost a lot of girls that really would score for them, and you see people like this step up, and you're like, all right, they got it. They're good.
We're good. And she's just a sophomore, still relatively young. You know, I think she's going to be part of that future core for this High Point team, along with players like Kay Russell and Esprit Shaw. So I'm curious to see where High Point's going to go. Next year is going to be very interesting because a lot of the players are going to be gone. It's going to be more of the young players really starting to take on bigger roles. So that'll be that's why I just really feel like this year is the year to do it. Like if we're going to do anything, if we're going to win an NCAA tournament game, if we want to make a run in that big dance, we got to do it this year because we still have Abby Holmes on our roster leading the charge. We got so many great players in the supporting cast. You got Mina Locher, you got Nicole Pugh. We need to utilize that to our advantage and be able to try and rack up as many wins as we can.
Definitely. And you know what? I see a Big South championship in our future.
You see a Big South championship in our future?
I see a future for it.
You see a future? Okay.
I really do, because I really think that when it comes down to it, they're gonna show out. Like they're gonna do it. And I think that everyone in the team wants it, like so badly. And I think that's what's gonna be the motivating factor. Because like you said, all these other teams, they're really good too. I mean, Mercer's great, Campbell's great, and yeah, they want it, but we have the history. I think we have the history, and I think that they can taste it more than they can.
Yeah, because at this point of the season is when they really start getting good. When conference play hits, non-conference play, I'm hoping that changes at some point with this program. It's the only thing. We play so tough in non-conference play where we're never able to get the job done. But I think that's also just credit to, we have to play a tough schedule. Yeah. We had to play Duke. We had to play UNC. But those games, you learn from those games, and you're able to apply into conference play, and it makes you better overall as a team.
Like you said, Mercer's coming up, and I think that's going to be a really big deciding factor too. That's
going to be a good game. The Bears versus the Panthers.
Who usually wins in Bears versus Panthers in real life and animals? Who do you think?
Animals.
If a panther versus a bear were to...
A panther versus a bear.
I think it depends on the type of bear.
It depends. Like, is it one of those lazy bears that just sits around?
Or is it like a polar bear?
Is it a vicious bear? I don't know, because panthers in my mind, I just think of them as like vicious. Like
yeah.
I got to roll thurs all day, 24/7.
Roll thurs all day. Me
roll
too.
thurs 24/7. So if I had to fight one, I'd pick a bear, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then this, like you said, they're very young, and I think they're going to get a pretty strong recruiting class
some of those players have already been announced.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what they can do. I've been able to sort of follow their high school journey so far, prepping for them because it's never too early to prep for next year's roster.
Not.
And I'm impressed. I think we're going to have some good recruits coming in next year. I think we're going to have a lot more variety. I think we have a lot of players coming from these different areas now, which is really cool. Like Mandy Brockham right now, a freshman on our team. She's from Colorado. Like we actually were able to get a player from Colorado to come here to High Point, North Carolina, and play for us. So I think we're starting to expand that recruiting class a little bit. We're starting to get more players, bigger variety, and it's just helping our team grow overall. Because in the past, we've actually had a lot of players who have had older sisters or older brothers that played lacrosse here, so that kind of attracted them to the program. But I think now there's these young girls out there in middle and high school looking at High Point, watching the games on ESPN Plus, and seeing our team do our thing.
Hearing Wendell's
hearing my
goals.
voice. Not to say that has any factor in their decision.
I mean,
but,
it might. Maybe they're like, I want to hear my
if I want to score a goal in NCAA lacrosse, I want that guy to go. But nevertheless, I think they're just seeing the team play so well. They're like, I actually really want to play for that team someday.
And I mean, you see it. I mean, we have baseball players from Canada, and we have basketball players from all over the world, and just everywhere. People are finally starting to see us as a school that is competitive and they can win at, which I think also really draws a lot of people in.
So I'm really excited. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun.
I'm pumped.
It's crazy that it'll be our senior year next year, but I think it's going to be very interesting.
It's
just going to be interesting with lacrosse teams because Ashton Olting's going to be out here. Abby Horn's going to be out here.
Yeah.
That's men's and women's lax. So lacrosse teams, I'm very, very curious to see. I just want to get my popcorn ready, just watch this movie that's about to come. But let's just enjoy the greatness while we have it. It's gonna be fun. They still got time. Let's not rush them out the door yet.
I know. I don't want to stop talking about them yet.
Love it so much. But I think that's a great segue into our next and final segment of this episode.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sort of expectation. Well, before we talk about expectations for next season, let's talk about just what were some overall top moments from this athletic season, because it was a very busy athletic season. Of course, new arena opening up, but what did you just enjoy most?
So my favorite moment was actually in the new arena, and it was our televised basketball game. And I wasn't in the stands. I wasn't with the crew. I was working on a project for a class.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and you were up there with me in the media section, in
Yeah.
those little tables, the tiny little chairs. And even from up there, feeling the electricity of the crowd made it so exciting. And I think that's what everyone is looking for when they come to an athletic event. They want to feel that. And I think that was my favorite moment, was when the crowd was packed and people were just in the standing room because there was literally nowhere to sit. And it was so exciting. And that's my favorite thing. I absolutely love that. It was so exciting.
Nothing can beat that. I mean, that was an electric atmosphere. That's a night that I'll certainly remember forever. Still remember everyone singing the national anthem together, starting lineups. I mean, they literally did like a different sort of start lineup introduction.
They
for
had
that
a whole
specific
different
game.
video.
Yeah, they had a whole different video. They went all out. You had Manny Zunabor wild card before the game. You know, like the little video on social media. Like everything was just like so different. It felt like that day, like this campus was just. It didn't feel like the campus I've been to, but like I'd say that in a good way. Like it just felt like they really were ready for the special occasion, which you have to be. That's good marketing right there. So I was very, very happy. I'm glad you said that as your
Tell me
favorite
yours.
moment.
I want to hear yours too.
I have a couple favorite moments. I
All
think
right,
it
tell me
definitely
all of them.
began in the fall with women's soccer.
Of course,
Seeing that women's
has
soccer
to.
team pull out the Big South Championship this season, following along on their journey for yet another season. Just so happy to see the girls finally be able to get it done, because I got to call the championship game last season when they played it here, and they fell short to Campbell in a very close-knit 4-3 loss. But here this season, they were able to play Campbell again in their home stadium and beat them in their home stadium. So it's 1-1 these past 2 years. What I'm hoping for next year is that we play Campbell again in the championship, but we play it here, I get to call the game, and we go to penalty shootouts. And I can do my first ever penalty shootout. Give me PKs, and I will be exploded after the game.
PK shootouts are scary.
PK shootouts are scary, and I would love to see it. I mean, we got the World Cup later this year, so I think a great leader for the World Cup is giving me a powerhouse Big South Women's Soccer Championship game. But then, of course, I got to shout out basketball season. I mean, the new arena, that just brought a whole other dimension to this campus. It was just so awesome being able to see. I think it was just more awesome for me, the fact that I was able to see the start of it, working that first game against Mount Olive, to seeing the end of it, those senior days, but of course the Longwood game. Family weekend was absolutely electric. That men's game we had against UNC Asheville, and being able to actually talk to the players and coaches in the press conference room. I think that's just what I just enjoyed most with all the teams, just being able to have more access to the players and coaches, seeing them a lot more often, whether it's up in the press box or seeing them around campus, and just being able to say, hey, like, love what you guys are doing, and then being able to say, hey, we love what you're doing too. Like, just that love. Like, I just really feel a connection with all these teams. I've announced games for all these teams, obviously, for a long time now, but I just feel like this year, it's kind of been that third year where it's starting to click. Everyone's starting to kind of take notice of all the hard work that SportsLink, like we do as a club. And for me, it's just that connection. It's just like connecting the dots. The fact that I feel like this whole like athletics program, like all the teams, we're just like one big family, and it's just like the best thing ever. So I think High Point's really starting to take notice. I'm just really excited to see where that goes next year.
I love that. And like you said in the conference room, I mean, they answer anything we ask.
They answer anything we ask. Yeah.
We could ask whatever. We could ask them what their favorite. Well, maybe.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
But like, we could ask them what their favorite ice cream is, and they would like give us a real answer.
Yeah,
not
they
like,
would. I mean, they're just real people. The players, the coaches, everybody. I know you enjoyed. I mean, you covered a lot of games.
I did cover.
What did you take most from covering all those games?
From covering those games? Just how like exciting it is to be kind of not a fan, actually. I find it more exciting to be more impartial about the games than to actually be a fan and rooting, Roll Thurs, as you hear in the stands all the time, but to kind of step back from that and report on them as a third-party impartial person is more exciting to me. I really do enjoy that a lot, and it's interesting when you go talk to the coaches and you ask them kind of questions about the other team and more of like what their plans are for that. It's more exciting that way, in my opinion.
It definitely is. I mean, that new arena just has everything. You get the catering too. You got the access to the chicken tenders. But I mean, I'm glad to hear that you really just enjoyed that reporting experience. But I gotta ask, like, are we getting a we got Danny to do a broadcast this past weekend, first ever broadcast on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Are we getting an Ava Sames broadcast sometime next year?
I will will do one soccer broadcast with you.
You will do one soccer broadcast with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. I usually stay in the hole in the little production and work with the audio, but
I know what your aspirations are. I want you in front of that camera.
all right.
And you've done this. This is our second year doing this show.
I know.
We talk a lot about the programs.
We do. I know the girls very well.
And you know the girls very well.
I know the sport.
You yourself were an all-star soccer player, right?
I
For the
was.
people that don't know, this is a living legend right here, who scored more goals. Than I don't know. You don't sell yourself short. I've heard all the stories, but I think that would be really cool to get the whole trifecta.
All right. I'll do
Me,
it.
Danny, and then you calling games.
I'll do it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I want a goal call though.
Of course. I mean,
That's
if you're
my-
working with me,
if I'm work-
well, I shouldn't say that because what if the game is 0-0? Wouldn't that be?
Well, I think that'd be more exciting. If it's like
No goal calls in one game?
well, sometimes those are the most fun games to watch.
Well,
back and forth. and-
Women's soccer, they never go to overtime. Literally have
No,
not had an
never.
overtime game here at Vert Stadium since I think like my freshman year,
Did
literally
they?
before I even came here. Maybe
don't
it's
even
been a
think
long time.
yeah.
It's been a very long honestly they just kick butt every single home
really
game they
do.
play. Like that's just what the women's soccer team is. Like I love that, but at the same time, I kind of want some competitive close games. We've gotten a few of that in
They're
men's
just
soccer.
that good.
They're just that good. So I'm really excited to see what Coach Fontaine and the rest of the coaching staff is going to do for next season. I think women's soccer are going to be looking to repeat as Big South champs. Of course, we got volleyball coming up in the fall, so. It'll be volleyball's first full season owning the Miller Center, not having to worry about
It's
basketball.
theirs.
Yeah, it's theirs. So I'm really excited for next season. I think it's going to bring a lot of new things. I think we're in for hopefully a record-setting season. I just look back to last year when we had all the sports in one season. Like, that was absolutely crazy.
I can't even believe that happened.
I know. The fact that happened, the fact we actually had to talk about every single sport. Like, it was always like, are we missing anything? Because there was just so much to cover.
Oh my gosh.
But,
I can't believe that was even real.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. This year we've been able to get back to normal, more spaced out. What have you enjoyed most from this year of HPU Sports Talk?
Of HPU Sports Talk, I love getting Harris on here, getting Ben, getting all these new boys up in here. I want Piper. I want Piper. Piper works in production for SportsLink.
Yes.
She does incredible work. She's awesome, and I want her.
I've been telling Piper to get on, so I've
I've
been telling her we're gonna get her on. No, like we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna make it
The
happen.
people want Piper, I know, and we want Piper. We're gonna
We
make it
want
happen.
Piper.
We also have a couple other sports media majors that could be coming in the mix. I think that's gonna be the good thing for next
Yeah.
year. Is we're hoping to get more and more people out in this show, get more faces to be seen.
People want to be on it.
Yeah,
too.
people want to be on it. Hopefully, do some stuff outside of the studio, being
Yeah.
able to have access to more coaches and players.
Definitely.
So, I'm excited for
too.
what's to come with HPU Sports Talk. I, obviously want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and to be able to do what I love and to be able to talk with someone that we've been working together since the beginning of freshman year, like literally.
Yeah,
so it's
literally since the second week of freshman year.
yeah. So it's just crazy to see that we've gotten all the way to this, this far, and we still have another year left. So
I don't count it out yet. I need that other year with you, and with Danny and with everyone else, and with Ben over there.
Yeah,
in the
shout out Ben
control room.
that guy is a one-man show right now in that
Yeah.
control room. So that guy's
We
living
appreciate you so much.
Yes.
We appreciate everyone who works on this, and I can't wait for another season. Of the
We're
show.
gonna have some fun next year. There's
We're
gonna be
gonna
a
have
lot
some
of
fun.
firsts. There's a lot of plans in the making. We're gonna make these shows better and better. That's always the goal.
Always.
When you have a fantastic crew, when you have fantastic talent by your side, it makes it easy to come here, smile on your face, just have a good time. So I'm excited.
Me too. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this season of HPU Sports Talk. I'm Ava Sames. That's Wendell Epps, and we will see you in the fall.